Thank you. And our list of late chits is growing. We have two now. Our next speaker is Catherine Eldridge.
Consider this a rebuttal to the staff report. No one would dispute his right to go out of business. However, he also had the right not to become involved in a property with an existing RMH encumberment. What's missing in this discussion is the fact that the state, the city, and the existing occupants have rights too. It is those rights which have been systematically disregarded and violated. At the heart of this argument is the legal mandate that cities must not create barriers to development of affordable housing and must not suffer an owner to remain in the rental business. Both of these legislative rights are based on either Ellis Act or a Costa-Hawkins ruling. However, cities are entitled to enact land use and zoning constraints that are sufficient to ensure that they also meet state mandates to provide opportunities for all income levels and to access all types of existing housing options. The notion that the owner is suffering from enforced continuation of the existing housing requirements is invalidated by the depiction of this project, which includes housing. Furthermore, according to state law, neither Ellis nor Costa-Hawkins applies to mobile homes or mobile home parks. That's Civil Code 1954.5. Additionally, we are not discussing only 50 income ownership housing options, but rather the full number of available sites there, which is 109. This is Santa Monica's only low-income home ownership option. That's housing that owners can afford to buy, which is again a state housing element requirement. No development project, even this one, can produce this many houses for the same price. In changing the zoning and land use from RMH to commercial and offering...
Thank you, Ms. Eldridge. Our next speaker is Oscar De La Torre.
I'd like to finish.
Could we ask Ms. Eldridge to finish her sentence?
Well, we can't cede time. Our rules do not allow ceding time. But if you have a question for Ms. Eldridge...
I would like to ask Ms. Eldridge what the rest of that last sentence was.
I'd like to tell you to look at your packet, because the state has an option right this minute that they have opening for you to get funding for mobile home parks.
Thank you. And Oscar De La Torre is next.
Good evening, members of the council and city manager and staff. I'm just here as a resident of the Pico neighborhood. I live right up the street on Stewart and Kansas, and I'm here to support the proposal by Council Member Kevin McEwen and to urge City Council to study all options to protect low-income residents and their housing. The Village Trailer Park residents are the only Santa Monicans facing displacement as a result of proposed development. I am proud to live in a city where we practice compassion in our governing institutions. This council has an opportunity to turn a crisis into a triumph, to show that people matter more than profits. I've, like many others, have had the opportunity to meet with residents, and there's many seniors, many people who will have a hard time adjusting to a move, and so it's real important to really study all the options to keep people in their where they live, and to protect the housing that really provides for different options that are much more affordable than some of the housing stock that we're creating now. So I just wanted to urge you all to study the options to protect the residents of Village Trailer Park. Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. De La Torre. Ellen Brennan is next.
Ellen Brennan, 1659 Oceanfront Walk. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So say our founding fathers in our Declaration of Independence. By that declaration, these people have the right to their simple dream, to live in their affordable homes unmolested for the rest of their days. Mr. Lozado has a dream, to move these people out of their homes so that he can make millions of dollars by developing the property where their homes stand. And by the unwritten law of hierarchy, some people think his money entitles him to greater consideration. This has been a caring city. Our dominant political party was founded on the concept of caring for the disadvantaged. Since then, that commitment has slipped somewhat. It's time we as Santa Monicans renew our commitment to those people of low income. You have the power to tell Mr. Lozado that a shoebox, affordable shoebox for the people he wants to dispose of is not acceptable. Ken Genzer lived in a 485 square foot single at the Sea Castle and said it was barely bearable because it had a 10-foot ceiling and it was close to the beach. Profit at the expense of the lives of others may be lawful, but it's not right. I ask you to do what's right. Give the city the opportunity to explore all of the options that are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brennan. We have 2 late chits. All those in favor? All right. We'll hear Mark Sanchagrin, followed by Mark Lozado. Talk very.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilman McEwen, and those of you with whom I'm a little less well acquainted. I'm here this evening not as a resident of the trailer park, because I don't live there. It's not my cup of tea. I do a fair amount of camping, but when I get home I like my big bedroom, my big bed. But my cup of tea is tea. I love tea. And when I go to visit my friends who live there, they have a Tahitian lime tree in their backyard. And I got to tell you, you haven't had a cup of tea until you cut up a Tahitian lime and put it in that tea. It just really highlights the flavor of the tea. I don't know if we have another tree like that in the city, but I don't know if we have another family like the Normores in the city. Calvin can't be here tonight. He's a professor emeritus of philosophy at McGill University in Montreal, Canada. His wife, Deb, is a director at Queensland University in Australia. They're out of town, along with their children, who are my son's friends. And they desperately want to come back in June, resume teaching at UCLA. And my son is desperate to reunite with his friends. And I hope you'll consider that. Thank you.
Mr. Lozado?
Honorable Mayor and Council members, my name is Mark Lozado. I'm one of the principals of the ownership group of Village Trailer Park, and I guess I can summarize this by saying that no good deed goes unpunished. As you may recall, it's been 5 years since we entered into an MOU with the city where we agreed to work in good faith to come up with a development agreement that would be mutually acceptable. And in return, we would continue to subsidize the park and keep it open. We never envisioned that it would be 5 years. We've kept it open. In fact, we've improved it. I have pictures from the park from 5 years ago, and it looks a lot better now than it did then. We've maintained it so that the people who are going through this difficult transition would have as positive an experience as possible. But the good news is that the proposed development here is one that will create a lot of affordable.
You can finish that word.
Affordable housing.
Thank you. I think we knew where you were going.